Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and I'll be frank from the very start of this video because it was meant to be a totally different one. So what I was going to discuss in this video, whether Vetements are still relevant, because in my opinion during the last couple months or even the last year, probably since their last fashion show, their last collection, which was fall 2020, didn't really hit the consumer market that well. So I was going to talk about their fall, let's be honest, but I decided to wait for 2021 collection just to see, I was absolutely sure that they're gonna prove my point and be and the collection will be as meaningless and irrelevant as the last one, but it is not the case. And as much as I was ready to be a toxic fashion rat today, I cannot do that. And let's take a look at the new collection and figure out why I think that it was a fine collection. It was a good collection for Vetements. So technically, Damna Gvasalia is no longer a creative director at Vetements. He's no longer employed at Vetements, and all the business belongs to Guram, his brother. And Guram is not particularly a designer kind of person. He's a businessman. He is responsible for finances and was responsible for finances at the brand when Damna was creative director. But what we're gonna see in this collection is that Damna didn't really go anywhere. Damna is still at Vetements and is still doing what he was doing. And there was quite a little bit of criticism for this collection for being like, just including all the items from previous collections and nothing new, nothing interesting. But I want to remind one more time that Vetements is not haute couture. Vetements has never intended to be that. It is more of a social commentary rather than a fashion brand. So think of Vetements as something of Andy Warhol. Like, you don't ask questions why he has that tomato soup can. You just don't, because it's not just a can of tomato soup. It is a can of tomato soup that was portrayed in the right way in the right period of time, and that's what Vetements are doing. They're just bringing pop culture to fashion. High fashion, although they're not haute couture, just remind you one more time. But if you want to find out more about the references and in-depth analysis of Vetements shows, because there is a lot to unpack usually, make sure to check out Great Please Foster's video about Vetements, and of course a good video from myself if you want. But let's get straight into the collection. All the looks were divided into like 3 sections, and mainly just for design purposes. So there is hell, there is earth, our place, and heaven. And first associations that I have with that is just very strong Slavic photo wallpaper vibes. They look like that, especially that waterfall one. They used to be very popular in like early 2000s, and they were like the most fashionable thing in like Eastern European interior decor. But let's better discuss the collection itself. So we still have balaclava and we have anarchy sign on just bare chest of a model that migrated from the previous collections. Damna often refers to the social problems and to the questions of control and power distribution and all that sort of things. So as much as he pokes fun on the governments like Russia and UN and other governmental structures, he is also poking fun on another side, on anarchy. So in the second look we have t-shirts saying think while it's still legal, and I know that many of people will be mad because those t-shirts would be probably sold for about $600 and it just print on a t-shirt, and I agree with you, it is not worth it, and if that's something you are saving up for and want to buy, you probably shouldn't. But as a mockery of our society in fashion, especially on such high level, it's Paris Fashion Week, you know, there are not many brands that can afford doing that, and that's the value of Vetements, that they do it so openly and on such high level. So we have first of all reference to something that looks like election slogan, and we'll see that he is mocking very particular countries. Even if you don't see mockery in there is, and he refers to the countries that been through the most shit this year in terms of politics. So first of all, we have direct reference to the US election. I don't think that I have to explain that. And then we have t-shirts with the French flag saying Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité. And if you don't know, France been through a massive controversy and political issue in 2020. So a teacher who showed on his lessons about freedom of speech caricatures on Muhammad by Charlie Hebdo got murdered by actually a guy who is from Chechen Republic, Russia. It was religion-fueled hatred murder, and it sparked great controversy because France was not dealing with it well. They went like full-on closing mosques and lashing out on Islam in general, and even Macron declared Islam to be the greatest threat for the country. Obviously, it just does not go along with the slogan Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité. Totally not. And the last government political commentary, the print with all the flags from around the world, and which looks actually like UN. And let's move on to some other pieces. So as much as Vetements are basically creating mainstream, they have the print in this collection like mainstream and crossed, which is just funny because they're the ones who set the mainstream. But also what is interesting, they really reflect reality, and I think that's precisely the reason why Vetements is so successful and is still afloat, because it appeals to all sorts of people. Even if you are high beast, if you're into haute couture, whatever you are, they can still appeal to you, and you can still find the pieces that you like. Even it can be, you know, like maybe 5 looks out of 165 looks, but they'll appeal to you. And I really like the jackets with slogan that they got here. I think they look really good. And also we have flame prints that migrated from the previous collections, so it's nothing new in this respect. Also, what is interesting, they have quite a few random Matrix references. Why? I don't know. Another mocking slogan that they have on their t-shirts, which is so stupid, and font is so bad, and it looks so disgusting, but that's the beauty of it. So it says fashion is my profession, and I don't think that I have to explain how stupid it is, and it is often used to describe things that are not fashionable at all. For example, if you see someone dressed really badly, you'll be like, haha, you look like fashion is your profession. There is a very vivid Juicy Couture references, and they gave kind of reboot to the old Juicy Couture velour suits, and I think it looks gross. I don't know who would wear that, but they've done that and it is a thing. And let me explain why I think that it was designed by Demna, because if you see Margiela reference, you understand that it is Demna. And here we have dresses, and they also have them in like turtleneck style that say haute couture, Vetements, Paris, limited edition and number. And that's just a reference to Margiela semi-couture. I think it's fall winter 97, I can be mistaken. But even the style of the dresses, the way they fit, it just totally same. And I also want us all to appreciate that in look 79, the guy is wearing Supreme boxers, and if it's not mockery of modern style of fashion, I don't know what is. And then we got 2 looks with quite funny wordings on them, and first of all is a classic, just quarantine vibes tracksuit, just grey sweatpants and grey tee. saying I like long walks and sex before marriage, and there is another one like office worker looking guy with a T saying I like fairy tales and financial stability. And I find it really interesting because they genuinely look like Tinder profiles to me. And what Damna is very often trying to do with his clothes, he's trying to create a character. Even in Balenciaga, the clothes revolve around character, so that a specific a nature, a specific set of traits that people who buy the clothes have. And I find it really interesting how he just says directly on the clothes as if it is Tinder profile, because you know, as much as people say that, oh, like I don't judge anybody by appearance, or like, oh, appearance doesn't matter to me, but first of all, the first impression, first impulse that you get from meeting a person or seeing them, it's looking at their clothes, because clothes are a valuable source of information about a person. So that's why I find that those looks are pretty interesting. And another funny look that we have says Vasalia for Vetements, with something that, with Vasalia looking like Balenciaga logo. And even here he makes fun of himself not being basically present at Vetements, because he's now a big cheese. He's creative director of Balenciaga. So now, even though Vetements is fully his brand, and his brother's brands, he refers to himself as an outsider. And the last funny reference that I wanted to talk about is Look 97. So they have a logo with fruits and says cutest of the fruits, Vetements. And you know precisely that this sweatshirt will be sold for about $600, $800, for about $500, $600, and it is nothing but just a redesigned logo of Fruit of the Loom, which is like the cheapest canvas for printing. So as I said before millions of times, that Damna Vasalia, or how we should refer to them now, Vasalia brothers, are the greatest trolls of our time, just because they make people buy absolutely cheapy things for crazy amount of money, and creating by this a sort of meta irony to all the fashion world. And that's why we love Vetements, that's why we appreciate Damna for doing what he's doing. And I would absolutely love to read your comments about this collection in the comment section down below. And whether you liked it or not, Vetements here to stay. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, you know what to do, and see you in the next one. Bye.